Hello, folks. Chris in Central Pennsylvania. I've been going through WhatsApp messages and emails for the past 2 hours. I have other things to do, but a lot of people have some disheartening news that they weren't approved for the refugee program. They received ineligible letters on June 30th. So while my heart goes out to people who had pinned their hopes on coming to America under the refugee program to escape persecution in South Africa, I did caution people all along that your actions play a role in a whole person concept when they evaluate. They have to make a determination of risk. USCIS's main role is to protect America and its borders, not to facilitate foreign nationals coming to this country. That's a task it has. And they have to make a whole person concept. Unfortunately for you, if you're someone abroad hoping to become a refugee to come to America, when you receive an ineligible letter, it means that you did meet the minimal standards to come here. Now, what can affect that? Unfortunately, as I said before, if you're not in South Africa, you can't. If you're not a Afrikaner ethnicity or racial minority, you can't. If you haven't suffered past persecution or have a genuine fear of future persecution, which you can articulate, you can't come over. Those are the basic stipulations. But beyond that, I've also said that drug use, criminal records, irresponsible conduct, like drunkenness or driving under the influence, could affect this. Now, a lot of people have spread rumors which have been factually untrue about if you served in the military or the police, you can't come over. That's nonsense. There are people who've served. In fact, we've got at least 2 people in the country that I know that were in the special protection unit in the military for protecting the president. They're here. And there are people who are in the police service, the old police service here, and military. That's simply not true when someone tells you that. Also, people said if you were a member of the Sightlanders, you can't come over. No, that developed a lot of scrutiny, but it did mean you couldn't come over. What will prevent you from coming over is if you lie. Now, my heart goes out, and you have no idea, unless you're one of the people who got a letter, and even then you have no idea, the sad messages, the tears, the crying voice notes that I've received, people giving me lengthy explanations of their process when interviewed, blaming it on the interviewer. And I'm not refuting anything anyone's saying. I'm just trying to tell you I do have empathy for you, but no one can fix this. It's a final decision. Nothing is changing it. And while that may be heartbreaking, lamenting about it or blaming someone isn't going to change it. Certainly blaming me is not going to change it. I was always straightforward with people all along. People ask me, well, I had a DUI, 20 years ago. Will that affect it? I said it could, but they take a whole person concept. If you're 55 now and it happened when you were 18, that's probably maybe not going to be a bar. But the bottom line is a lot of people are shocked to find out that they got letters saying they're ineligible. But then I'm hearing from people who are relatives who've come over or are being more forthcoming with me. I'm not saying that people sending these messages are lying, because they're not, but a lot of people are getting ineligible letters and they're not honest with themselves. So for instance, here are a few things that I've come across in the past hour going through messages. Number one, someone wrote to me and says, I'm shocked that we were denied. I really want to leave the country. We're being persecuted. And then they explain their situation, and in it, they tell me about both the husband and wife have passports from a safe haven in Europe. Well, you can't go. I answer this question many, many times. Why did you pin your hopes on that? Why would you come to America when you can go to Europe? I realize you don't want to go to Europe. It sucks in some places, but this couple has a safe haven passport. And so that's why you were denied. You're not eligible. You have a place you can go. Why would we give refugee status to someone? This is not an immigration program. So that's one thing. Another is in my denial video that I did on the 30th, after the events of the nothing burger that took place in South Africa with the domestic terrorists. I did that 2.5-hour broadcast, and one person there said that their friend who got the denial failed to disclose that he'd been arrested because he assumed or thought that they wouldn't find out about it because his record had been expunged. But when they ask you a question, I've always said you must be honest. An act of omission is an act of commission. And that's also happened. People have been dishonest with the interviewers and not been forthcoming about things. Safe haven passports. Also, another person, I've received information from a family member that their family member received a letter of denial. Could it be because they were a member of the South African Defense Force? No, probably not, unless they committed human rights abuse. They also got arrested for drunk driving on the influence. Well, that is probably the reason that person got a denial. And that sucks. If someone's irresponsible conduct in the past keeps their family from coming over, that really, truly sucks. So in that circumstance, that's a tough decision what people have to do. There are also lots of people spreading all kinds of rumors about things happening. The only thing that I think might be happening right now, chasing down all these rumors and these conspiracy theories, is that it is entirely possible that people with letters of denial might be getting emails telling them from RSC or Church World Service that they have an upcoming medical or an appointment. I don't know if it's true. A lot of people are claiming that, but that is something that's possible. Given we know how geographically ignorant RSC has been in the past. I mean, after all, so where do you live? I live in Durban. All right, we'll schedule your interview in Cape Town. What? Okay, I live in Pretoria. Okay, we're going to schedule your interview in Cape Town. What? I live in Cape Town. We're going to schedule your interview in Pretoria. That has happened. So that very may well be a possibility. And that's only possible because I believe that USCIS may have screwed up, may have. I don't know. I have no evidence other than it seems plausible that they, one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing. So USCIS sent out denial letters or ineligible letters on the 30th of June, and they didn't inform RSC the cases, perhaps. That might be a situation there. Or the person who's scheduling hasn't got instructions to not schedule people who are no longer eligible. Folks, this is heartbreaking. But as I'm discovering, more and more people, either directly themselves who are now being honest with me, or those who have told a family member or a family member knows the circumstances, there's a reason they are ineligible. They've made themselves ineligible. Now, I still haven't run down the story about the lady who was denied, was accused of being convicted of a crime and having served in prison. Haven't run that one down yet. That's an odd one. But again, that's an outlier. Many of these letters shouldn't come as a great shock for some of these people. I must say that it was heartfelt for me, and I really feel deeply for a couple of people who wrote to me respectfully and thanked me for everything I'd done to help them figure out this process. But unfortunately, they had received ineligible letters and they're no longer being able to come over, and they thanked me. Well, that's very kind of you in your dark time to have the consideration to be polite and respectful and even reach out to me and thank me. You're most welcome. I hope I can help you in some fashion going forward in the future, and I hope you remain a viewer to those two people who did that. The emails I'm getting from most people are not, and the messages I'm getting from most people are not rude. That's primarily happening on live broadcast, people being disrespectful and rude. And it's not a lot, but it's some, and I understand why they're doing it, but there's no need to do it. Most people that are writing to me, either email or WhatsApp, are desperate and puzzled and gobsmacked about why they got letters. And I understand that. I'm trying to be sympathetic, but there is nothing anyone can do at the moment. And that's unfortunately the bottom line with this situation. Folks, this is so important to me, and it matters so much to me that I'm telling you, it's 101 degrees out here, Fahrenheit. That's over 40 degrees. It is boiling. And I came out here because nobody's on the street. And it's peaceful and quiet at the moment, and I could speak to you about this situation. Look in your heart. Think about what happened. Think about the people on your case. And I'm betting that in most cases, people will know why they've received a denial. Some people are just unwilling to admit it. There may be outliers, and maybe something can happen in those cases, but generally speaking, there is no right of appeal, and there is no second chance on this. Now, there is one outlier. I don't know the answer to it, but someone asked me, they said, well, we received a denial, but what about my 21-year-old that was on the case? If your 21-year-old has done nothing wrong, they weren't the primary applicant, I would encourage them to submit an intake questionnaire just for themselves. I don't know. I don't get your hopes up, but I don't know that the denial, which was based on someone in there, if it wasn't on them, does it negate them coming over? I would think it doesn't. And I'll ask the question of the U.S. government, but I don't have an answer on that one. But I wouldn't hesitate if that were me. If it were me and my spouse, and I was in South Africa and I was the primary applicant and the case was denied, ineligible, and I got a 20-year-old son that's living at home or daughter, and I want them to come to America, I'd encourage them to do their own. It's a thought. I don't know if that's going to work, but there you go. Anyway, folks, trust me. I mean, nothing I can say will make people feel better, and nothing I can do at the moment will change anyone's circumstances. But you have my heartfelt condolences and thoughts and prayers to those. I know what's going on in South Africa, and I've known for a long time, and I've been telling people for many, many years. And I hope that things come right for everybody. God bless.